Hello everybody, welcome. This is the first online lecture going with the art appreciation class. This semester I'm trying a bit of an experiment. I'm going to have one lecture for each unit, each of the art historical lectures that go with the unit. So for each unit we'll talk about some art historical period, focusing on a particular period of time as a starting point to then talk about other issues about design and the reasons why people make art. And so, what better place to start than to start with the Paleolithic and Neolithic period? And I'm going to. And what art do we have? What evidence do we have of those cultures? Um, so, here we go. Or maybe we don't go. There we go. So we start with the Chauvet Cave, partially because it is the oldest Paleolithic art that we have, and also because it is a very recent find, the Chauvet Cave. I highly recommend that all of you watch at least excerpts, but maybe the whole thing of the documentary movie Cave of Forgotten Dreams, which is about the discovery of Chauvet Cave and about looking at the art in Chauvet Cave. It's a gorgeous movie, and um, and we especially focus on this one image, the painting from the Wall of Lions. I have both the close-up that will be the primary image we used in the course, and then also a larger size image of it as well. And and this will be used a lot in this first unit, but also throughout the course. It's one of those images that you're going to need to know, and a number of times throughout the course. And right now I just want to talk about cave painting. There are a couple of different things I want all students to remember. Number one, that the term cave painting is a little bit confusing, because there's a there's no clear divide here between what is painting or what is drawing, and even to a certain degree there's a sculptural element. These are painted on cave walls, and the walls have surface, they undulate, they're not completely flat. And the artists who made these images used that change of surface for the illusions that were created. They probably carved into the walls in places, but also used the natural changes of the surface. But then they also plastered over the walls, they prepared the walls. So these cave paintings are in some ways sculptural, but they're also in some ways more like drawings, in that they're a lot of the work would have been done just with a stick of burnt wood, a piece of charcoal, or with fingers. Um, and but I think the other thing I want students to really pay attention to is just how amazingly fresh and beautiful they are. And in a sense, they feel quite modern and contemporary. We have uh, a misnomer about history and art history that it's entirely about progress and improvement. And so, therefore, these people who didn't live in towns, probably didn't live in villages, who lived a nomadic life, that these people are were lesser, and so their artwork must also be less sophisticated. And all the cave paintings that we're looking at today, but especially the cave paintings of Chauvet, um, are, indicate the opposite of that. And I want to talk a little bit about what we do know about Paleolithic culture. So, like I already mentioned, these people were nomadic, either entirely nomadic or primarily nomadic. They were probably hunter-gatherer. Um, may or may not have been matriarchal. It's really hard to tell, but a lot of the artwork suggests that. They didn't live in the caves. The caves, from all we can tell, were sites, religious sites that were visited, um, and as to what the purpose of those religious sites and any religious ceremonies that happen there, we really don't know, but we can take some educated guesses. Um, And also, another thing I want you to understand is that when we talk about Paleolithic art, this is not art that represents the entire Paleolithic period. This is art. Let's see if I can move this over a little bit. There we go, so it's not in your way. Um, this is not art that represents the entire Paleolithic period, right? But really just mostly from what we find in the Upper Paleolithic, that is the time period after 50,000 BCE. Um, and so, like, Chauvet is the oldest artwork that we have, and that's from approximately 32,000 BCE. On this slide, we also have another image from a different site, Lascaux, and that's from 1500 BCE. There are three main cave sites of Europe. There are others, but there are three main ones that I want you to know. Chauvet, which is the oldest, Lascaux, which used to be the most famous, and is also quite beautiful, although it is having difficulty, it's deteriorating now that it's been opened to air. And the other one, the very first one, Altamira in Spain. What I mentioned about Lascaux and the caves degrading due to visitors coming to see it and due to it being open to air leads to another point I wanted to make. Um, People sometimes wonder how it's possible that we have such well-preserved art from so long ago, and it is really entirely due to accidents. Um, if these caves hadn't been completely sealed off from our natural atmosphere, um, then probably we wouldn't have any of the cave paintings that we do left. But fortunately, these three caves, and any of the caves that have Paleolithic art in them, what has happened is that they were, through cave-ins, sealed off, and the caves became airtight containers, protecting the artwork. So, like I said, uh, three three most important cave sites. And then I also wanted to say that besides the caves, the other main example of artwork that we have from the Paleolithic period are lots of totem figures, mostly these kind of Venus figurines. And I use the term totem because they are small figurines